All right, there we are. We are live. We've got Coop with us, locked in his basement. It's Super Bowl week. Only one way for probably the last time this season. Let's hit my favorite video from Coop.
Now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions of NFL fans around the world, from the OTM headquarters to your ears, let's get ready to rumble!
Never gets old. Never gets old. Coop, how's it going in your new location over there?
Going good, man. Still working out the lighting here in the new spot, streaming from not the office, from the basement. So getting all set up and moving things around in the house. Always a little bit of a challenge, but needed a change up. So it was time. Excited for the Super Bowl in a different way than normal, man. I mean, couldn't imagine a harder matchup to root for a specific side here. Have literally zero allegiances, but excited for squares, pools. I'm in several different ones with my friends. I honestly won't have like any bets or anything on the game, which is very unusual for me on the Super Bowl. At least I'll take a side, somebody that I like. I'll maybe have some prop action. We can go through some of that stuff and maybe some playoff fantasy stuff that pops up. But yeah, I know you have some playoff fantasy stuff that we could get into. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch the game. It'll be interesting to see how the turnout becomes, because it's probably the best matchup that if you're the NFL, like it's probably the best matchup that you could have gotten. Two massive fan bases. Obviously, the entire Kelsey Swift thing. It seems like Vegas is buzzing. Like everything on social media is going insane. So yeah, I'm super excited just to see the spectacle that is the Super Bowl this year.
Should be a good one indeed. Welcome everybody in chat. We got Fenny, Irony Duck, T-Man, Life of Yo Dad, Sergeant Stogie, Giant Hammer, William, Andres, Vince Carter's Last Shot, Ace John, Eagle Putt, Francisco, that's fun to say, Cart Pigs, Mr. Ugly, and Matic Auto coming in with a smoke some at the end. And we got Marco with a little JM action. So happy Friday, everybody. Gonna just talk some Super Bowl here. Coop already mentioned it. We'll start off at the top with the squares pool that we are running. So if you are a Jolly Joker holder, you can head on over to otmnft.com/form, and all you do, select this 2024 Super Bowl Square Joker contest, submit that. That'll get you onto our list. We will then, after midnight tomorrow night, be taking all of the names that submitted and then doing a square pool for every Jolly Joker tier. So 4 different pools: Jolly Jokers, All-Stars, Hall of Fame, Gold Club, and then you get access to every single pool depending on which group you're in. So if you're in Gold Club, you'll be on 4 different block pools, and then, as we get more and more exclusive in terms of the Jolly Joker tiers, there will be less people in the contest. So make sure you head on over there. You do have to be a Jolly Joker holder in order to get yourself on the squares. So if you're not a holder out there, first off, come on, what are you waiting for? There's never been a better time to join the JJSS. Just crossed over 2,000 unique holders yesterday, which is fantastic. I think I looked and we're at to 2003 now. So the road to 3,000 uniques has begun. It might be a long road, but that road has begun. And yeah, if you're out there, now's a great time to head on over to Floaty, grab yourself a Jolly Joker, and get yourself into the squares pool here. Anything else on the squares, Coop, that the people need to know?
No, just so everyone knows, I think I said this in Discord as well, but if you're watching, if you're filling out this form here, otmnft.com/form, as TJ said, just click that drop down. You do not need to enter a preferred email here. We already have your email. If you have a different email that you want us to email, definitely put it in there and we'll track that, but you don't have to. That's a optional box there. So you could literally drop down, click submit, and you're in. And yeah, like TJ said, Sunday before the game, get in there before midnight tomorrow, Sunday before before the game, we'll publish all of the numbers. It won't look like a traditional squares pool, if you will. There'll just be way too many people to put on a square, but we'll basically give your identifier, either Discord or email, and your specific numbers by quarter. So you'll see it that way. So we'll publish that for each tier. And yeah, just a fun way to sweat the game. I'm super into the numbers poll for this game, for this matchup. I think it's always one of the most fun elements of the Super Bowl. And with no real rooting interest, I'm going to root for whatever numbers come up on some of the polls that I'm in.
Always a fun way to sweat the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm going to be watching the game at a friend's house, and we will most certainly be getting some squares going there. And yeah, totally free to enter. And we have 4 different Jolly Jokers up for grabs. And then we also have the opportunity to win some packs to yet to be announced future OTM games. More info on that will be coming later. But let's dive into the matchup a little bit to start. I've got DraftKings up here. I know you said you had some odds up, Coop. I don't know if do you want to share whatever. Because I just
I have DraftKings up too. I was just thinking of going through. I saw some, everyone's got a bet for the game. Everyone's got a specific prop that they like or a touchdown score that they like. Some of my buddies are always sending me the deepest props. I said one of my friends had a non-QB passing touchdown. It was like $20 to win $750 or something like that. And he was like telling me the scenarios in his head. And I was like, look, I might be able to get on board with like Debo or CMC throwing a touchdown pass. But if you're trying to convince yourself that anybody on the Chiefs besides Mahomes is throwing a touchdown pass, you're out of your mind, literally out of your mind. So if you're going for crazy props, that was a fun one. But yeah, I figured go through some lines that people like. I think Ayuk, most of the things that I've seen online, most of the people that I follow, I think a lot of people have been under on Ayuk, over on Debo, which is kind of interesting. I don't know about you or your thoughts or how much you've watched the 49ers, but Ayuk just seems sneaky. Every time you think he isn't going to do something, he kind of pops up and has one of those monster games. And him and Debo have like that elite ceiling, but maybe not as high of a floor on Ayuk as Debo. So he was the first one on the board here, Ayuk. And I don't know if you have a take on under over receiving yards, but I've seen most people hammering under 60.
Yeah, I think first off, Super Bowl, as much as any, fun time to throw in some fun bets, some long shot odds, and try to hit there. Yeah, I think, from what I've been listening to, because I listened to a couple pods across the industry, it seems like Ayuk may have a bit of a difficult matchup here against the Chiefs. So yeah, I've been definitely hearing the same on some Ayuk under stuff there. And then, this is just me regurgitating a bit of what I've been hearing, but Debo to me is just always has the potential game-breaking ability, right? So some of the stuff with someone like Debo that I'd be interested in is more like long shot type stuff. So if you can, you can get him at over 58.5 at -130. But if you can get some like teaser stuff going and get it even higher and get longer odds added, or I think Debo's like his MVP, I think is an interesting one. From an MVP standpoint, I think that if the Chiefs win the game, like Mahomes just is going to be the MVP. It's really hard to imagine a scenario where the Chiefs win and Mahomes is not MVP. But if the 49ers win the game, I could definitely see 3-4 different guys potentially being the MVP, right? Obviously, you have Purdy, and it's super common for quarterback to get MVP, but Purdy's been talked about enough this year. I think he's proven to be a relatively average quarterback, which is fine. But I think that it creates a situation where, you could see McCaffrey, you could see Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, a defensive player. Like I could see all kinds of crazy things happening from a 49ers win standpoint when it comes to MVP. So I was checking out those a little bit too. Let's actually pull up those MVP odds.
Yeah, pull up some MVPs while we do that. What's your general take on the game? I'll give mine. I know neither of us are really like the biggest, hey, I'm going to take a side on every game. The Super Bowl, obviously a little bit different. I find myself literally wanting to unload on the 49ers. And then I literally, every time I say I'm even going to bet $100 on them, I'm like, how could you bet against Mahomes as an underdog at this point? Like, how many times is Mahomes going to just literally cover as an underdog, win as an underdog, win in big game scenarios? I feel like Mahomes really took another leap in that Buffalo game. I think it was 2 years ago at this point, but when they were down 13 seconds left to go, they tied the game, they beat Buffalo. I feel like that was the turning point for him, where it doesn't matter what's happening in the game, they're always in it. Whereas I feel like San Francisco with Purdy, they get in a tough situation. That Chiefs defense really underrated, and they start stifling them, and you just never really know how someone like Purdy is going to react. Whereas you're going to get the best out of Mahomes. So I don't know. I find it very fun that the books, most every tweet is that the books will certainly need the Niners to cover the spread or win the game. A lot of the bets in the public are on the Chiefs, as a dog or on the Chiefs money line. So I really can't decide on just who I think is going to win the game. I guess gun to my head, I clearly can't pull the trigger on the Niners. So I think I would have to say that I think Mahomes and the Chiefs probably take it.
I've been leaning that way as well, which just feels it's funny how the narratives change over the season, right? Because I would argue that for the last 3 months, everyone is just saying, oh, the 49ers are the best team in the league. The 49ers are the best team in the league. The 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl, easy favorite, yada, yada, yada. And then all it takes is seeing 2 games of playoff Patrick Mahomes. And now you're like, oh, Mahomes is not going to lose in the Super Bowl. So it's just it's the ultimate test of recency bias too, because I found myself thinking the exact same way of is Mahomes really going to lose to Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl? No way. Right. So I've been finding myself leaning Chiefs as well. It's also just I don't have a rooting inch. If it was up to me, neither of these teams would get to win the Super Bowl. I think
can we tie? How do we tie? Let's go to 4 overtimes at this point.
A little tired of the Chiefs at this point.
Yeah.
Tired of the 49ers talk all season, but personal biases aside, I think it's definitely going to be a great game. And I think it's going to be close either way. I don't really see either of these teams coming out and blowing out the other. But I'm if I had to take a pick, I would go on the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, all those guys getting it done, which is just so crazy. I mean, you see the Chiefs names on the screen here: Mahomes, Kelce, Pacheco, and Rashee Rice. And on their offense, then they literally have nobody else that can do anything. I mean, these other wide receivers they're trotting out there are terrible, and it just doesn't seem to matter because you have Mahomes, you have Kelce, you have the Andy Reid offense, and Chiefs are just never a team you want to run into in the playoffs.
Yeah, I totally agree. Two final points on just the game for me. Just my personal thoughts. It feels like 2004, 2005, 2006, when the Patriots were just on their run. I couldn't have hated Brady more. They beat my Steelers, and basically anytime we would get to the playoffs and run into the Patriots, it was a lock. The Patriots would win. Brady was just so good, so hard to beat. He was so good, and I hated him and hated him and hated him. And I came around later in life to just Brady is the greatest quarterback that ever lived. Just knows how to win football games. And I feel like I'm entering that era of Mahomes where I'm I hate Mahomes now. He gets overhyped and all this stuff. And then, in 6, 7, 8, who knows how many years, I'm going to be wow, Mahomes is basically the baby goat, and I'm going to be able to admit it. But in the moment, it just feels so hard to admit. So yeah, I feel like a little bit of that comparison is starting to pop up. And what the Chiefs have done the last 4 or 5 years has just been insane. And then, I think it's going to come down to defense wins championships. Both these teams have pretty elite defenses when they can play at the top of their game. That's shocked me all playoffs about the Chiefs. Many of sharper people or smarter people that watch the game differently than I watch the game have said Chiefs defense is great. You just never really heard about that in the media, but man, the Chiefs defense has really powered this team. And Mahomes and Kelce, when they have that defense, when they need to have the drive, when they need to put points up, they're just able to do it. So it's going to come down to defense, I think, and defense wins championships in the NFL. So if you can play elite defense, one good game here, you'll have a chance. And I think both these teams have the ability to do it. So I could see it being a really, really close game and a fun game as well. So we'll see how it pans out.
Let us know in chat who you think is going to take this one down. Ace John thinks Ayuk will go off. Matic Auto, KC wins the Swifty Bowl. I see what you did there. DJ Local has Chiefs over first half. RRX 69. I hope the Chiefs get the L. Pretty much what Coop and I were just saying there. That Patrick Mahomes Chief, unwarranted hatred. I sympathize with you there. Ace John says Mahomes almost lost to Jimmy. Come on, that's true. That's true. Anything can happen out there in the football game. 49ers for Glib. Ace John, 49ers defense is key. Mahomes versus the defense. Kind of same thing Coop was just saying there. Jump shoot with the real answer. Usher is going to be the real winner on Sunday night. I mean,
A bunch of
I was listening
my
to the Joe
wife.
Pomp podcast about Usher and the Super Bowl and all that. Crazy the amount of like just money and all kinds of things that is happening around the Super Bowl. It's like, yeah, there's a football game happening, but it's so much more than just this football game.
Yeah, Vegas, the Sphere, the advertising, the lights. I mean, I couldn't, Vegas as a place to host the Super Bowl, just insane. Just such a cool atmosphere. I'm sure there is such an entertainment capital right now of America for sure. I was actually looking at DJ Local, someone who's definitely whose words I follow very closely. Sharp, someone who's paying attention to the league. Casey is plus a half in the first half. So basically Casey takes the lead to the locker room. That is an interesting bet. That is a very, very interesting bet. Can see them getting out on top and sort of falling into that narrative that I said where, their defense stifles Purdy a little bit. They get frustrated. They maybe not have the best couple of drives. Chiefs win the first half. Very, very interesting take there. So I'm following that. And then, Usher, lot of my wife, some friends I've seen, some other women, everyone our age in general, like Usher. A couple Usher songs come on, and man, you get that nostalgia for sure. It takes you back to, I don't know, hell, middle school half the time, mostly for some of these songs, and that should be pretty fun to see. So we'll see what happens with Usher.
Usher's a vibe, without a doubt. Hey, Sean, I agree. So what's the over-under on how many times Swift is shown? I was thinking, how they, you print out random prop sheets that you do with your friends, and there's the Gatorade color thing, the national anthem thing, right? All those silly props. I'm I guarantee this year there's going to be an over-under on Taylor. There's going to be something Taylor Swift on at least some of these prop sheets. I can almost guarantee that. Mr. Ugly, Chiefs win. Pacheco has a day. LFG Chiefs. All right, my friend.
Is
Pacheco
the most underrated player in the game? Because I'm pretty sure that's my take. And the guy has just performed in the playoffs. The Chiefs get there, and then all of a sudden they start handing him the ball on second down, third down, and short, and he just seemingly always has been picking it up. So you just don't hear anyone really talk about Pacheco. Has got to be one of the most underrated players in the game, I would think.
Yeah, and you really gets his time to shine this playoffs. I feel like the last couple of years they've leaned heavily on Jerick McKinnon come playoff time, and with McKinnon out, it's been pretty much all Pacheco all the way, with maybe a little bit of Edwards-Helaire mixing in. But yeah, I love Pacheco in this game. We can talk about my underdog fantasy team in a second, but Pacheco's on my team, so I'm team Pacheco as well there too. So back to the MVP odds. You got Patrick Mahomes, of course, at the top, plus 125, which is about what we expected. And then Kelsey's at plus 1,200, Pacheco at 2,500 on the Kansas City side. And then for San Francisco, Purdy plus 235, McCaffrey at 450, Debo at 2,000. So yeah, to me, Debo at 200-1. Is that what that is? Yeah, 200-1. I mean, that's pretty tempting, right? You can totally see a world where, Debo takes an end around 60 yards to the house, and Debo can get there without Purdy necessarily having a big game, which you can't say for a lot of wide receivers, right? If Travis Kelce has a massive game, it means that Mahomes also has a massive game. And although, hey, maybe they want to pander to TK and T Swift and give Kelce the MVP, but 49ers, a lot more outs to get there. And McCaffrey, obviously just a mega beast. And he's pretty much a lock to have a massive game. It's just a matter of whether or not they would actually give the MVP to a running back, but can totally see that happening. He's just been a beast every single game all season long.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like if you're betting Kelsey to win MVP, might as well bet Kelsey to score 3 touchdowns or something like that. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
what would have to happen for Kelsey's not going to get, mega yards after the catch or anything like that. He's going to need to find pay dirt 3+ times in order to catch MVP. And if so, then Mahomes is going to have a ton of touchdowns. So it'd be pretty hard, I think. Whereas I think you're spot on. Debo seems like the best value there in terms of, if you're going to go long shot off the board. Yeah, he's going to have to find pay dirt twice, but once rushing, he takes a little screen to the house or something like that. So yeah, I could see something like that.
Yeah, this is totally correct. As I was saying, I'm like, there's no way it's 200 to 1. That I would bet so much money if it was 200 to 1. 20 to 1 makes a lot more sense. But I mean, hey, putting up $10 to win 200 ain't so bad.
Definitely.
Irony Duck says, if the right Niners D show up and play a full 60, I think they're the fave. Definitely agree that the defenses are going to be key. Mr. Ugly talking about the high step. I think he's talking about the Pacheco stuff. You see lots of memes and stuff about the way Pacheco runs. Definitely has some funkiness to his swag there. But hey, just like in golf, swing your swing, run your run. His awkward style gets it done. I don't know. I think I showed you, but that some guy on the Corn Ferry Tour yesterday with an absolutely brutal looking swing shot a 57 in golf. So
don't get us on golf,
friend.
man. We'll go 10-minute tangent on golf here if we start talking golf.
Anything else in like props ish market that you have your eye on, or anything in chat that you all have been looking at? I definitely think props is like, yeah, sure. You could take a team money line or spread, but I think props is the most fun way to attack it.
I'm sure I'll have a couple $10, 4 or 5 leg parlay props to dust off some cash. So I haven't really been very good at hitting anything like that. Usually try to find some sharps that like a specific guy or a specific a prop, but nothing really from me. I will be probably following a $5 or $10 bill on this any non-wide receiver touchdown throw from my buddy, just because if it hits, we celebrate like crazy. So follow the $5 bill or something like that for fun.
Love it. Yeah, it's always good to have a little sweat in there. All right, let me share what this is gonna be my major sweat of the.
Yeah, let's get into this
on Sunday. But for anybody that is maybe familiar, our friends over at Underdog Fantasy run a best ball tournament for the playoffs. This started before the playoffs began, and then it's essentially like you're in a group of 6, and then you advance out of that each round of the playoffs. So I drafted, I forget how many teams, a decent amount, 50 maybe? I don't know, something like that. I drafted quite a bit of teams, and I got 2 through to the final. It's a 400-person final. And I have this team that has Patrick Mahomes, Pacheco, and McCaffrey. You start 5 players total. So the goal is to have 5 people live. And then I've got Rashee Rice and George Kittle. And then I also have McCole Hardman and Justin Watson. I don't even think McCole Hardman's going to play because he stinks. But these 2 are kind of irrelevant. But the big point here is that I went through all 400 teams, and there, by my count, I could be off slightly, but there are 85 teams that have Mahomes, Pacheco, McCaffrey, Rashee Rice, and Travis Kelce. So my big personal sweat is, can George Kittle outscore Travis Kelce? Because if that happens, I have a good chance of a nice finish. If that doesn't happen, then I literally can't finish better than 86th place. So yeah, that'll be my. I don't feel the best about it because I think Kelce is just going to have a smash game. But like, there's 3 people. There's me and 2 other people that are duplicated on this team. So I'd much rather have the Kittle team duped 3 times than the Kelce team duped 85 times. So that's my little interest. So go George. George Kittle is going to be my guy on Sunday.
Yeah, go Kittle, man. Super into this one. I think it also shows the how you play on underdog and what you're looking for. Like you said, I mean, yeah, people are trying to always stack up Mahomes, but so many people are trying to stack up Mahomes. You end up hitting a combo that's only duped 3 times, and you take the George Kittle side. I mean, if you asked 100 people this, 95 people that are just normal people that aren't even like super sharps would say, "Oh yeah, give me the George Kittle side," right? Because you have way better chance to essentially win the money at the top of the prize pool. So yeah, excited for this one. We'll certainly be rooting for Kittle over Kelsey. Just sweat it out with you for sure.
There we have it. So there's
what's the top prize here? What's the top prize? 1.5 million total. What's the top prize here?
150K.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so 150K
super top heavy, but
prize. It's actually not bad. Only
yeah, not
10
too bad.
Yeah,
I was
pretty good.
looking down. Yeah, it's
Pretty
actually
good.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I already cashed for 750.
Yeah, very nice.
If I get into the top 100, then that moves up to 2,000. So another 1,250. And I feel pretty good about getting in the top 100 just because a lot of the teams are dead. Like teams are in here. I think 178 teams have 5 players. So over half the teams can't even field a full 5-player team. And then like of the teams that I did a whole, for anyone that wants to see my Excel, I did a whole little diagram of it because, why not? But like, yeah, there's 80 full team combos, but like some of them don't have McCaffrey. And I'm just kind of considering them, they're not going to win if you don't have McCaffrey. Obviously they could, but like most likely if you don't have McCaffrey, you're not going to win. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm looking at. And then there's only 10 that I counted George Kittle lineups out of 400. There's only 10 George Kittle teams that have 5 players. Maybe there's some that only have 3 or 4. But yeah, so it's a nice little leverage spot. And then there's
if there was ever a time for both Kittle and Mecole Hardman to find pay dirt somehow.
Imagine
would be
Mecole
the time, man. Now
getting
would
it
be
like
the one time.
Getting the ball and not fumbling would be amazing. So there we have it. Man. That's my sweat. And then I know some of you out there have some other sweats going on. We've got our Rumble contest that is live, and then also TOC. So from a Rumble perspective here, you've got Relsk one sitting at the top, but Ole Miss right behind them has the full Kansas City plus San Francisco stack here. Yeah, so a lot of people are going to be kind of blocked out, and these teams that have the 400, we got Ace John right here down in 10th place. These teams that have the full 480 player minutes remaining, I think are very likely to end up being the ones that kind of fill out the top 10, but some nice variation in teams here. So Ace John has the McCaffrey hero, and then Ole Miss has the Mahomes hero. So yeah, wow, Ace John, I know you're out there in chat. Super up. No, not live to win because it looks like Jagos9 has you blocked with a low. Wow, 291 serial. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty low. Lots of single digit serials in there. But you got Stogie in the mix. So shout out. Yeah, he's down there. He is. He's sweating. Yeah, that's a great sweat to have right there. So we have this going on with the Rumble contest. And then we got TOC as well. Let's check that out. Oh, baby. Ace John has the most PMR left here, too. Kansas City quarterback, running back, wide receiver, KC tight end, KC defense. 6-7 points out of first place. Yeah, Ace John's got a little sweaty Sunday on his hands. Got Greek in the mix. Ryan Judge, the Beards won. El Jefe. So good luck to everybody out there that's sweating your Rumble. And TOC contest was a super fun season in both of those formats, and has been fun on the outside, just kind of watching the leaderboard each week, watching a lot of familiar names hitting the tops of the leaderboards in a lot of different weeks. And as Giant Hammer just said, good luck, everyone. All right. Anything else that you had on your radar, Coop, in a half hour? We also have, and we'll probably touch on this more another time, but on the NFL All Day side, we got the icons coming up. So, got some big time moments like Joe Montana coming to the platform. I believe this drop features all retired players. So, you got some of your Steelers in there, I think, Coop. Elway, Mike Allstott. Yeah, so this is a pretty cool one. Really throws it back to some of the glory days of like I feel like some of these people are way back, and then you've got people like who did I just see? Like Priest Holmes. That is like when I first started playing fantasy football, he was like the guy. So pretty fun list of players here. Rodney Harrison, legend of the game. Yeah, Ed McCaffrey, man. It's I feel like defensive players in this day and age don't like. I mean, you look at some of these, you see like Mike Vrabel, like not as many iconic defensive players with that name recognition in today's NFL. But you look at something like Mike
I
Allstott as
definitely
a
think.
fullback, like it's just fun to see, these kind of positions and player archetypes that have maybe been phased out a bit from the NFL game. But back in the glory days, they were huge.
So many injuries in today's NFL, so hard to like on the defensive side to produce the longevity that some of these guys have produced. I mean, the moment that comes out in this pack, obviously super near and dear to my heart, the James Harrison 99-yard interception return. It's the ultimate moment, but it is that ultimate of a play. So pretty cool that one's out there for Steeler fans, and some of these other moments that are just going to hit people in the field from a nostalgia perspective. So pretty cool that they launched this. And yeah, I haven't looked at every single moment that's coming out here. I know there's a $5 pack, and the legendary pack I believe is $999. So definitely some pricey packs on that side, but you're getting those ultimate moments in there as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how what the reception is of these packs. And if you're out there buying, good luck ripping, have fun with ripping, and hope you guys hit some good stuff.
Absolutely. And just like that, another season of NFL is about to be in the books. Another series of NFL All Day about to be in the books. It was a fun football season this year. Any final questions, comments, or anything from chat? Let us know. Probably going to go ahead and shut this on down on a Friday afternoon. Coop, any last thoughts for the people before we head on out?
No, cheers. Be safe. Have fun. Everyone have a good Super Bowl weekend. Take a look in the Discord on Sunday for the polls, squares, polls, and numbers. Best of luck out there and all the $5 parlays, all your bets. If you're a fan of the Chiefs or a fan of the Niners, wishing you all the best fan rooting experience you can get. So I've been fortunate enough to watch the Steelers in a couple of Super Bowls. So it's a really fun one. Obviously, if you're a Chiefs fan or if you're a Niners fan, most likely have watched your team in the Super Bowl before. So no first timers here. But yeah, it's always a spectacle and always a little sad when the NFL comes to close. But football these days, man, NFL is a 24/7 business. So we'll be hearing about offseason moves and the draft before you know it. And for those of you guys in the best ball streets, I'm sure there'll be some early season 2024, 2025 drafting already starting here pretty soon. So enjoy the game and let's have a good one.
Indeed. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Best of luck in everything you got going on Sunday. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.